This 2023 Texas Longhorns edition of the final year in the Big 12 on the Big 12 college experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our Patreon score exclusive perks contest and contests, including our NFL win totals contest with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And we are also brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app to get last-minute tickets and lowest price guaranteed. Use the promo code CFBX for $20 off. And last but not least, we are brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. It is football season, so get over there. Download the app now. Use the promo code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet. Head over to DraftKings Sportsbook and use the promo code SGP. And welcome, everybody, back to the Big 12 College Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Hey, man, we made it. The final Big 12 preview, season preview. We got week 0 kicking off tomorrow, which means we got week 1 on deck. No Big 12 action this weekend, but we got a loaded slate next weekend that we'll talk about at the end of the show. But we got one last team preview, and we saved not the best for last, I can tell you that. We saved the worst for last. The team that's got all the expectations headed into this season, their final year in the Big 12. But before we do so, if you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Got a lot of wins over Texas in my day, and I'm joined each and every episode. First up, a guy that was born in Provo, Utah. He's got family names Iowa, and he lives in Morgantown, West Virginia, a walking contradiction. And may I add, those watch on youtube.com/the college experience, he's got the best TV logo in the background because this is a horns down podcast. Rambling Rush, let me ask you this. You've worn the colors of every team so far, but you seem to not have that burnt orange on today.
No. So as many people know, my dad's side of the family's from Maine. We own a retired farm up there. So I am a big Patriots fan. So I threw on the Patriots shirt today. I am respecting a 2-time Super Bowl champion, Malcolm Brown, who went to Texas and did well for the Patriots. So I'll put some respect there. We are 100% a horns down podcast, but it is also the most talented roster going in on paper, going into the Big 12 season. So it's going down.
It is going down. Hey, we'll talk about their great roster, their Madden roster, all pro roster that everybody keeps fucking talking about. But first up, we got third man in the box, betting in the 3-hole. He's an Oklahoma guy, everybody. So all you Texas fans tuning in, he's got family that's in Norman. He's got family that's in Stillwater. He's got family in Waco. Pretty much everywhere but Austin. He is the Big 12 guru, Troy Chewning. I know you've been waiting for this episode, my man.
So I'm wearing my Florida hospital shirt where I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And if people keep talking about this Texas team, they're going to get fucking diabetes too, because this is almost too much. I mean, I understand they've got a lot of talent and everything, but Steve Sarkisian has not really been that guy, and Quinn Ewers has not really been that guy. So the two most important parts of your football team are the two biggest question marks, and for them to have this much hype and those two gigantic question marks puts us in a very, very, very similar Texas feel we have had in some previous years. That's all I'll say for now.
Yes, trust me. I will give you the floor for plenty of time to talk Texas Longhorns. But you mentioned it, Steve Sarkisian, year number 3.
Former BYU quarterback.
He was
the alcoholic Mormon. Yep.
And just to recap his tenure so far in Austin: 13-12, 9-9 in Big 12 play. If you ask me, that's the definition of mediocrity. They had a good year last year for the most part. Finished 8-5, including they lost the bowl game to Washington, but overall had a solid season. Finished 6-3 after a disastrous first year in Austin. Rush, I'll hand it to you. I think you're higher on Texas than Troy and I, maybe by default.
Yes.
Give me some thoughts on the Sarkisian era so far after stops at Washington, USC, and then he went to the Saban school for a couple years down in Tuscaloosa.
So the thing with Texas, right? You say last year they had a good year with 8-5. That could have been a 9-4. Obviously, the Alabama game, who they play in Tuscaloosa this year, week 2, could have gone Texas's way last year. Here's the problem: is when you're a West Virginia Mountaineer, we would love an 8-5 season, right? We'd love an 8-9 win season. The problem with Texas is that doesn't cut it, right? They're the New York Yankees of college football. If they're not winning it all, or at least the Big 12 championship, or they'll be in the SEC next year, then to them, basically the season's meaningless unless they're able to sneak into a New Year's Six bowl or something like that. So obviously you said it right, 13-12. A lot of questions around Steve Sarkisian, obviously what he did at head coach at USC. Of course, a lot of people have been revived by the Nick Saban school of coaching. But it's the verdict's still out. We talked about it. No one here debates this. He has all the talent in the world, on paper, but unless you can coach that up, unless you can do something with it. And I mean, Ewers too has been bit by the injury bug. I mean, you're only as good as what you can coach up to. And you lose to Alabama, and then maybe you lose to Baylor week 4. Next thing you know, you're 2-2, and then you got guys entering the transfer portal because they expect things too.
I was going to say, do we think that expectation might have changed a little bit? Because their biggest game last year was a loss to Alabama. Like in terms of the fan hype and what everybody was talking about for expectations and whatnot, their biggest game last year was a loss. I mean, stomping a mud hole in Oklahoma was pretty cool. And you would think that the Texas fans would talk about that more than losing to Alabama. I understand that their quarterback went down and they got put in a precarious situation, and the outcome of the game could have been significantly different if Quinn played the whole time. But when it comes to the expectations of Texas, you are thinking New Year's Six bowl. They're Texas. Like you should be able to go get 5 or 6 high schools and put together a team that wins 8 college football games out of Texas pretty dang easily. Mm-hmm. So maybe the expectations are becoming a little bit more realistic, but it just seems like the all the makings are there for them to have a couple of early slip ups and directly into that. Oh no.
It's a really interesting schedule, and we'll go game by game on this schedule because they got multiple trap spots in. One thing, this is the final year in the Big 12, and I think that Texas fans knew that they were going to get everybody's best shot, but when the commissioner is going on record and saying to the Texas Tech fans and coaches, hey, I'll be in Austin the final week for Thanksgiving, Black Friday game, go get it done like you did in Lubbock. If you don't think that you're not getting a call the entire season, every 50-50 game, they got to be 10 points or more better every single week. So I think Texas fans knew that, but they didn't realize how much everybody's just sick and tired of them and ready for them to get out of the league. Go ahead.
Well, Yormark, he said the quiet part out loud, but we all knew what he was. Even Texas fans knew it. And here's my problem with the reaction to that from Texas fans. The holier than thou is they tried to break up the Big 12 on multiple occasions. They've held this conference hostage. That's probably. They think that's why, Nebraska and Colorado left. People got tired of Texas's bullshit.
Texas A&M.
Exactly. Texas A&M too. And hell, probably Missouri. People are tired. You got the Longhorn Network, which hasn't actually been a benefit. Maybe you've made some more money, but that hasn't been a benefit to your winning program. Like it's you put yourselves on the top. Okay. And then you get mad when people come for it. It's you got to be one or the other, and that's I think that's the problem everyone has with Texas. If you're just winning and there's great team, yeah, then take it. Take it like a champion. You know, I'm wearing this Patriots shirt here. It was a great 20-year dynasty.
Yeah,
Everyone would talk shit, and it's like, all right, we'll see you on the football field. I'm not worried. Talk all the shit you want.
It
and
seems
you
like
do that to Texas, and it's like they get all soft.
They're the
seems like
Cowboys.
now, yeah, they're definitely the Dallas Cowboys.
They're the
of
Dallas
college football.
Cowboys.
But
Yes.
it seemed, it's the same thing. Like when the competition wasn't as good as Texas, and everybody was making it seem like they were coming for Texas, they're coming for that number one spot. And Texas knew, like, you guys don't have the talent, and you guys can't do anything about us. It's no big deal. But now the talent is elsewhere, and teams have been successful at picking off Texas. It's no longer cool to come for Texas. Yeah, fuck off. Everyone's coming for your ass.
No doubt. And shout out to the chat. It's lit in there. A lot of horns down. Andrew Shore's in there. Horns down. This is a reminder. Horns down podcast. We got plenty more to talk Texas Longhorns, but we got to do that on the other side because we got to talk about game time because, hey, man, it's football season. We got football kicking off in Ireland. You're probably wanting to get some damn seats for these games, tickets. The economy is tough right now. Tickets are as expensive as ever. Beer's as expensive as ever. Rush, you are a big advocate of the Game Time app. You used it for years and years. Tell everybody about a little bit about Game Time.
Absolutely. Use Game Time, as I said on the previous previews. Since its inception, it's honestly with you able to see your seat where you want to sit ahead of time. Like I said, I've met Troy outside of Nats Park at the bullpen at Walters. Get your drinks before, and then, hey, you wait right before game time, the literal game time, not the app. And you watch those ticket prices dip because people are just trying to get rid of them. And it's the best app, best user experience. And then their game time guarantees you always know you're going to get the best price too.
Yeah, like Rush said too. You get images of your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect, where your seats are. Buy tickets in just a matter of seconds, just like that. 2 taps and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone. No hard tickets, so you're not drunk at the bar before the game, losing it in the Porta-John. Who knows what the hell you're doing? So you never have to dig through your email either, which is a plus for me because I get enough spam. Get over there, download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code CFBX for $20 off on your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account CFBX for the code, $20 off. Download the Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And like I said, man, it's college football season, which means Underdog Fantasy is back and back better than ever. August has 1 week left, and it means it's football season. And you're probably getting ready to draft your fantasy football team. So get over there to Underdog Fantasy. Get a championship-ready team for your home league, your money league, whatever league you're playing in. Best ball on Underdog Fantasy. All you have to do is sign up, and you're in a snake draft. No waivers, no trades, none of that other stuff. You said it, forget it, and Underdog does the rest. Try it out with Underdog's Best Ball Mania Tournament, the largest fantasy football contest of all time, with $15 million total in prizes up for grabs, including an absurd $3 million, which they might need to buy out Sarkisian if they that might be pennies for what it's going to cost to buy out Sarkisian.
Add a couple zeros to that.
Yeah. Do you have what it takes to win it all? Well, let's find out. Get over there at Underdog Fantasy. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the app and sign up with the promo code SGPN to get a first deposit doubled up to $100. The Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. And my favorite pick of week 0, I like Jack State. I may have a more favorite play on the season. It may be the Texas win total that we'll preview here in a little bit. But for right now, Jack State money line, Rich Rod back at the FBS ranks. Jack State's going to get it done over the Tink UTEP Miners tomorrow. So get over there to UnderdogFantasy.com.
Home dogs.
Let's go. Plenty of home dogs on this schedule against Texas, I can tell you that. All right, so let's talk 2023. I guess we kind of started already transitioning last year. So trajectory 5-7, then 8-5. They've won 3 more games from first year to second year. Why Rush is everybody? Why is this year going to be different? We'll play half glass full. This is going to be hard for us, but let's do the positive Texas side.
Okay.
Why is Texas and Sarkisian Quinn Ewers different this year?
Well, Ewers stays healthy, finally really hits his stride. Steve Sarkisian lets his players do what they're capable of. The players don't play from an individual level and NIL and trying to get to the next level. They play from a team level, and they come out with, hey, Big 12 doesn't want us anymore. We clearly don't want you. Let's send this off right.
I
Troy,
think
give us some positive Texas.
I think it goes well if Quinn Ewers can put any of the like statistical accomplishments and whatnot aside and take advantage of the fact that they have a stacked wide receiver core and just spread the ball out to whoever's open instead of trying to make too many huge plays.
Mm-hmm.
Just take advantage of the thing that we always talk about with Texas is that their athletes are their talent and their speed and their power is there. So just give those guys the ball and get out of the way. If he can do that, I think they're still going to be a pretty solid and a tough team all year long. I don't know. Maybe they go to Alabama and win that game and things turn up.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if they win that? The Texas back memes would be flying like freaking Black Friday shopping list. I think if Texas is going to be good this year, why it could be different, I think it's the trenches. I think they're better on the O-line and D-line. Reports out of camp that their defensive line is really taking a step forward. But they're having issues running the ball, but that also goes into my next part. They're going to miss Bijan Robinson more than I think everybody realized. I mean, we don't see running backs get drafted in the top 10 anymore. He went in the top 10, and everybody saw him in that first preseason game for a reason. And they're not just going to miss Bijan Robinson. They're also going to miss Robinson behind him, which, I mean, so the 1-2 punch of the Texas backs, they don't have either back. Sorry, Roschon Johnson. I said Robinson again. Yeah, Roschon Johnson. So, I mean, the 1-2 punch of Robinson and Johnson last year, those are two big voids. Rush transfer portal, they had a couple key additions at skill position. Anything stick out in terms of additions and subtractions? I kind of hinted at it with Bijan already.
I think the funniest, maybe not funniest, but the biggest addition might be someone that doesn't even play this year, and Arch Manning. Because what he does is, well, who knows? I mean, if Ewers gets hurt or starts laying an egg, he might see the field this year, but we'll put that to the side for now. But by just that hype going into it, I mean, when you have someone like with the Manning last name go to a place like Texas, I mean, then you start rolling in more money. You start rolling in other recruits want to go there. It kind of reestablishes the brand name of Texas. So that's what's funny is I think the biggest get this year is going to be someone that may not even see the field.
Arch Manning's never going to play over Malik. Malik Murphy's way better than Arch Manning, and I think Malik Murphy, one of the questions I have on here is when Ewers is going to start 10 games, like the over-under on that, and I'm taking the under because I think Malik Murphy's a significantly better quarterback than Quinn Ewers.
I was just getting ready to say that the ironic thing is Ewers and Manning get all the hype, but Murphy might be the best quarterback out of the group. Let's take one last break, and then we will get back and talk Texas Longhorns game by game 2023 season. But like you said, we are brought to you by DraftKings because you waited all year and college football is finally back. So are the tailgates, traditions, and great offers from DraftKings Sportsbooks. Right now, new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they just bet $5 on any college football game this weekend. Plenty of games to choose from. There's 7 games tomorrow. You got Notre Dame, USC playing. I kind of already teased it out which one I like the best. I like Jackson State on the money line as my week 0 lock. So get over there, kick off the season with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now. Use the promo code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any college football bet. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code SGP. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800. DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after insurance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms And which means get over there to DraftKings. And we are also brought to you by our SGP Patreon. Make sure you check out the Patreon. Sign up today for the Patreon to get access to exclusive contests, including our NFL win totals contest at a $1,000 first place prize. Hey, the guys are out there in Vegas right now at the Circa. Go check out that. They'll be on VSiN later tonight at midnight Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific. And what the Patreon is, man, it's just a way to fight back against the corporate gambling hacks out there, trying to scam you for $99.99 a year to give out 50% on your picks. The Sports Gambling Podcast Network will never give out, will never charge for picks. All picks have always and will always be for free. Do your part. Help out the Sports Gambling Podcast by heading over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Reminder, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And we are back on the Big 12 College Experience talking horns down, Texas Longhorns. Final year in the Big 12. Here we go. JT, we'll go game by game on the schedule, give out our season predictions. Go ahead, Troy.
I did want to say something about A.D. Mitchell transferring in from Georgia. I think that'll probably be their biggest addition to the team. Anytime you can get somebody that's got experience in winning a bunch of playoff games is really going to help whatever position group, whatever, the whole offense as a whole. And then getting Trill Carter to transfer from Minnesota, just getting somebody on your team's name that is Trill that's got to be worth a win, maybe a win and a half. So maybe they get to 5 this year.
Maybe. with the Alabama win. So yeah, he said it right. So that's a big peak. Hey, so let me ask you this. We'll lead it right off. Troy, you're on the clock first. They take on JT Daniels and the Rice Owls. JT Daniels entering his 23rd season in college football. Him and Tom Brady played about the same amount of years of football at the quarterback position. You got the Longhorns starting off hot here. 35-point spread, by the way.
I think the narrative that I'm going with is I would take Texas to cover this one even. I think they win this game and they cover it, and the Texas back meter starts clicking. It's already at like 3/4 tank. It starts clicking to that like almost full tank.
The funny thing about Tom Brady and JT Daniels, Tom Brady played for less teams than JT Daniels has. So I actually agree with Troy here. I think Texas covers the spread. You said I think this is like a 50-60 point to 14.
Mike, this one might be one where you get to see Arch.
Yeah, you could see Arch. You might see Arch and Murphy. The weird thing about Rice is supposed to play really fast, so I don't know if that's going to go well. That could be like what Colorado is getting ready to walk into with TCU, their opener, where we're going to play really, really fast. But if you don't have the Jimmies and Joes, you may be giving the other team that's got the better horses more possession. So we're
going to play really fast and punt with 14 minutes and 15 seconds in the first quarter.
It's like fucking Chip Kelly in the NFL. Hey, we're going to play really fast. All right, that was a 40-second possession, and your defense is gassed now, and you're down 28-0. All right, so 1-0. I'll give it to him. Rice is going to kick a field goal to cover and lose by 35. Let's go. So here we go. Is Texas back? Here's the game. We talked about it last year, 20-19. Texas, this was their moral victory of moral victories. This was the Texas is back, started the momentum based off a loss. Nick Saban, Bryce Young. Honestly, Texas got jobbed in this game. They should have won the game. They got fucked by the refs on that safety call with Bryce Young. They lose Ewers. Troy, do the Longhorns shock the world in Nick Sabanville and Tuscaloosa?
I don't want to pick them to win this game, and I won't be wagering any dollar on the Texas side. But I think for the sake of the Texas back narrative, they go down and they get Alabama by a field goal. The world begins to burn, as after they beat Alabama, they will be fully convinced that they are actually back, not realizing that it's week 2.
I'm actually, Troy, I have similar beliefs to you. I have real concerns about Alabama this year. And of course I'll say that, and then we'll fast forward to the end of the season and they'll go undefeated and win the national championship. But Something's not right with the quarterback at Alabama. And the thing is, this is a home game for Alabama. But I'm with you. I think Texas is going to win this game.
Oh shit. So composite, we already have it as a win.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of the teams that Texas has.
I don't have a good feeling about this game. Yeah, I don't feel good about this game at all.
I think everybody's picking Texas already. I think Bama's going to run the ball down their throat. I think you're going to see the old school Bama come out this year, and they'll bring along the quarterback positions. The funny thing about Bama, like they went to Tua and all these guys, Mac Jones, the pro style quarterbacks. They've only won one national championship with that style of play. They won
Mac
5
Jones,
the others.
baby.
Yeah, and then I guess you could say Tua, but Jalen Hurts and Tua split. Yeah, but I mean, Tua wasn't the starter. Jalen Hurts was the starter, and they ran the ball. So you guys got Sarkisian going down and getting his revenge on his old boss. 2-0 for the Longhorns. Shocking the world. They're going to be number 1 in the country on Monday if they do this, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're starting in the top 10. Maybe Georgia will still be. But, all right, so Texas is back. They're going undefeated. Wyoming's going to get them then, right? The other Cowboys. Right, Troy?
It wouldn't be. I mean, it would be very Texas for them to beat that Alabama game and blow their load and slip up against Wyoming. If they were going on the road to Laramie, I would 100% take Wyoming money line in this game. But that doesn't happen to be the case. So I'm sticking with Texas here. I don't think it's going to be quite enough for Wyoming to go to Austin after like big Alabama victory and all of that come down for the next week. I think it could be an interesting close game though. I think maybe Texas has to like have a touchdown drive in the late fourth quarter to push it to 10 or to push it to 13 or something like that and really close the game out. But I could see Texas making a few mistakes and keeping Wyoming in this game longer than they should be after that Alabama win.
I think the best bet in this game, especially regardless if it's close or not regardless if they beat Alabama or not, at least if that game's a close game, I'd probably go Wyoming in the first half spread. Like I think this is one of these where they come out just kind of, they play Baylor next week, start the Big 12 schedule and come out kind of lackadaisical. And then they put it together kind of at the end of the fourth quarter and end up winning this. But I think this game's going to be a lot closer than people think.
Yeah, especially because Wyoming will have played Texas Tech already. So they're already Big 12 battle tested. I skipped a step in our episode, by the way. So you can tell I'm just like down on Texas. The over-under for the Longhorns is set at 9.5, a flat plus 100 to win the Big 12.
Don't make that bet. That's a terrible bet.
That's the second shortest odds behind Georgia. So they have better odds to win the conference than Clemson, who's been to the playoff, Ohio State, who's been to the playoff, Michigan, who's been to the playoff. All three have won national championship, or not Michigan. They have the shortest odds to win the Big 12 among all the other Power 5 conferences, other than Georgia.
If you're thinking about betting them to win the conference, might as well bet them to appear in the national semifinal.
Absolutely.
Like if you think they're going to win if you think they're going to win the Big 12 at even money, for them to not slip up and still make it to Dallas and win the Big 12, they really might be in that semifinal conversation. So I think that would be a much more valued bet where you're still kind of betting on the same outcome.
Yeah, no, you guys, I was actually surprised that you guys picked them to beat Bama. Because I was going to say before that, I was going to be like, I would bet that over their over-under win total if you think they're going to lose to Bama. Because if they lose to Bama, that means you only have one loss remaining. If you get 2 losses, you could still get to Dallas and win it, and you'll get that plus money versus the minus 9.5 is like minus 135. So, but you guys had them beating Bama. So if you guys are more confident in the over, play that side. All right, so we got him at 3-0 composite. I got him at 2-1. You guys got him at 3-0. Sick 'em. Final time at McLean Stadium. We on the Baylor preview, we all had Baylor winning. Rush, have you changed it all on this one?
Nope. Baylor's the dark horse. I'm doubling down on Baylor. This is where they get their first loss of the season. And I think something about that Bama game where it could hurt a Texas team, because I mean, this has never happened before, is maybe Texas goes in and beats Bama. And then we kind of find out that Bama's actually, it's not that Texas was good. It's that Bama was below people's expectations for the year. And so they get like so overconfident, and then Big 12 play starts, and then they just, that downhill spiral begins. That goes into my theory of the whole them beating Bama.
I think, like we were talking about on the Kansas State schedule, Texas has their own couple of 3-game stretches that are pretty difficult to go, especially this first one, going Baylor, Kansas, and then Oklahoma at the Cotton Bowl. And what I said about Kansas State was they've got a pretty good chance of winning that first game of each set of 3 and kind of getting them rolling into the next 2. I think it's kind of the opposite here for Texas. I think they're going to have trouble in those first of the 3 games, and it might set them on a downwards trend. I think they go to McLean and get fucked up by Baylor. I think Baylor wins this game by like 17 points or something like that. I think Blake Shapen's a better quarterback than Quinn Ewers, and I'm taking the Baylor Bears, sticking with it, over the Texas Longhorns. And maybe they find out there's a bit of a leak in the not back tank, and it starts leaning back the other direction.
So I got Baylor winning. This is the final time in Waco. This is personal for Baylor. Early look ahead line is 7.5. Take the points. Fucking hit the money line when it's available. Baylor's winning this game. It's probably going to be that 11 a.m. game out there. They're going to be ready to go. The boats are going to be floating right up to McLean Stadium. They're going to punch Texas right in the mouth. So we all got Baylor winning that one. 3-1 for the Longhorns. And I just realized I was looking at their schedule. I think on all the other previews, I had Texas losing in every single game. So we'll see if they go 0-9 on my prediction. Kansas going to Austin for the first time since the scene of the crime. The only win for Lance Leipold 2 years ago. Jalen Daniels on the scene. Do they make it 2 in a row in Austin? Rush?
Man, Kansas has had their number.
Look ahead to Oklahoma too.
Yeah, that's the look ahead. Even if, because I could see Texas obviously getting up for Baylor and Kansas being that sandwich spot. This is a tough spot for Texas. Kansas is actually in a great shape to play them. You know what? I'm gonna go Kansas here. I like it. It's 3-0 to 3-2, and people start getting a little nervous.
In the Kansas preview, I went Kansas, and in the Texas preview, I'm going Kansas. Again, Jalen is a better quarterback than Quinn Ewers, and when it comes to a late game, even with it being in Austin, I'm trusting Jalen Daniels over Quinn Ewers 11 days out of 10.
Yeah. No, I'm on Kansas as well. They've had their number. They beat them a couple years ago. They should have beat them a couple years before that as well when Kansas was really, really bad. Kansas always has their number. So 0-2 for the Longhorns. All right, so let me ask you this. So this is the scenario that I've kind of been teasing at. If they're 3-2, I have them at 2-3. How hot is that seat now?
The seat has to be extremely hot because Steve Sarkisian's buyout is very, very simple. It's just 70% of the remaining contract. So if they buy him out, they actually save money. Meaning that the seat will always be like the seat warmer in the car is always on. It's always at least that warm.
Rush, how hot is this seat if they have 2 losses by this point? Because it's playoffs or bust for this team. If they have 2 losses by October 1, I mean, they're going to be calling for his head.
I mean, I think at a minimum, it's Big 12. You got to get to the Big 12 championship or bust. Especially before you go into the SEC, because they're just, that's going to be a lamb going to the slaughterhouse. Well, I think here's the next question is then we have Red River the next game. If he loses that and they're 3-3, it's over.
Yeah, no. Is this a game where the loser is fired? I mean, imagine if Oklahoma stumps their toe out of the gate against SMU or Iowa State or somebody, and they got 2 losses coming in, and we got a desperation versus desperation. You teased it, Rush. I mean, next up, you got Boomer Sooner, you got Hookem, one last time at the Cotton Bowl, Big 12 style, before they go to SEC to finish 10th and 11th next year in that league. What do you got here, Rush? You got Texas.
I'm going to give them a win. I think Oklahoma is more dysfunctional. I definitely think this is Venables last year in Oklahoma. I know I didn't join the preview with you all, but when we do our final predictions, we'll lay it out, and there'll be some amendments in those predictions. There were a couple Benedicts, especially on my end, but I do think, and we're talking, we're chunking these games out, like, right, 3-3-3. So their second round of 3 games, I do believe they go 2-3. But so I'll give them a win against Oklahoma.
I think on the Oklahoma preview, I went with Texas, but I said it was going to be a close game. I don't think
it'll be closer than last year. Absolutely.
I don't think I picked Oklahoma to win.
I hope so, for Venables' sake.
Well, that's the only thing is, you have to replay these teams that you just stomped a mud hole in, and they've got it circled on the schedule no matter what. Texas is already going to be a game that they're looking forward to. And then you add on the fact that you got shut out and beat by the biggest margin in Red River rivalry history. I don't know. I kind of want to go with Oklahoma just so they would be 0-3 in league play. But I haven't really benedicted myself on any of these. So I'll go ahead and give this one to Texas, but it's going to be this is going to be, regardless of the outcome of the game, unless they win, 49-0 again, it's definitely going to be what the fuck is Sarkisian doing? Is he drinking again? Like, what? We beat Alabama. We're supposed to be the best team in the country.
I got to win too. So you guys got them at 4-2. I think that they're better than Oklahoma, and Texas will get up for Oklahoma. They'll get.
Oh yeah,
Oklahoma will get Texas's best shot. I'm down on Venables as well. We did that preview. I think I had him at 7-5. I may even knock him more. The more and more I think about it, Troy, I kind of am onto your SMU angle week 2, where they might pop up and pick off Oklahoma. All right, so you guys got them 4-2, composite 4-2 as well. I had Alabama winning, so 3-3 for me at the halfway point at the bye. October the 21st. This one is interesting because Dana Holgorsen takes his winning record against the Texas Longhorns in Morgantown, but this time he's at Houston. All these years, Texas has blocked Houston from getting into the Big 12. They get him one time in H-Town. What happens here, Rush?
Dana will give them a game, but this is, I know they'll have a 10-day break after this because they play West Virginia that Thursday night. I think that West Virginia Thursday night game that we've talked about with Dana and Houston, that's a all-in type of game for him. He wants to stick it to West Virginia and, might be willing to expose the playbook a little more than he usually would. I'll give it to Texas, but I mean, Dana's going to give him a game. He'll at least give him like a solid half or 3 quarters. He knows how to game prep against, teams like this. We've seen it in, when he was here in Morgantown, did very well against Texas, but I do think Texas comes away with a win after this game.
The way that Houston gets to play him kind of sandwiched in between 3 pretty challenging games and then 3 pretty challenging games. There's just something stinky about this matchup and it being in Houston. Dana's going to win this game. The Houston Cougars are going to beat Texas in their one matchup they get.
Yes.
They're going to beat them in their one matchup they get. I guess Baylor's a pretty tough road spot and Bama in the non-con. So maybe that's a bit of wishful thinking, but I think the skirted egg is going to take down the stumbling contradiction.
I'd bet on this one. This has been my favorite upset pick just because, man, Houston got blocked all those years by Texas. They get one shot at them before they go to the SEC. They're probably never going to play again. Tom Herman, revenge game 2, went over from Houston to Texas, and then they completely fucked Herman, by the way. I mean, he's been better than Sarkisian, and they ran him right out of town. They really did. They're probably going to run Sarkisian.
You got to think Texas would be a pretty good program by now if they had just stuck with Tom Herman all along to this point, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, Yeah, Dana pulls one more rabbit hole out of his ass, and he fucking wins this game. The Red Bull, he's going to have the visor sideways. They're going to carry him off the field.
Well, they
like
don't.
He's Bill Walsh.
They don't have to play
it might be his
Oklahoma
final win.
State. They don't have to play Oklahoma State this year, and Kansas always has the number, but they play them at home. So there's going to be one of these lower level road teams that gets them on the road, just like Oklahoma State probably typically would have done if they were playing this game in Stillwater or Austin. I think Dana fills the role for Mike Gundy and fucks him up right in the middle of the year.
I like that angle. Shout out to Mike Gundy. It's a shame that we don't at least get to see Gundy beat Texas one last time. It was beautiful last year in Stillwater. Shout out to our guy. All right, so composite. Oh man, 4-3. See, it's getting hotter and hotter there in Austin. I got him at 3-4. Rush is Mr. Optimistic on him at 5-2, which is pretty sad for their standards that they're 5-2 with their expectations.
And to win against Alabama.
Yeah,
this is don't worry. This is where it gets fun. This is where it gets fun.
Here you go. Does Taysom Hill come out of retirement and beat the Longhorns?
You don't even need to. I mean, he played quarterback at BYU. He signed the honor code. Wasn't allowed to drink. He went down the wrong path. And this is God's revenge against Steve Sarkisian. BYU wins this game. BYU's done great against Texas. It does suck this game's not at Provo. I was hoping the Big 12 would stick it to Texas and put the game in Provo, but they're probably like, oh, BYU will win at Texas anyway. They've done it before in Mac Brown's career down there. This is a get up spot for BYU. BYU's going to win this game.
Are they going to send Sarkisian out like Mac Brown?
Dude, they might. How?
I was going to say this could be the one. Steve could hit the bottle hard after this if they slip up in this game. I like the whole idea that every little bounce is probably going to go BYU's way because Steve Sarkisian went back on his honor code signing at BYU. God's gonna hit him with the fuck you. You can't be drinking on the job, Steve. And a fumble is gonna like bounce right out of the hands of somebody, and BYU's gonna land right in their chest, run it back for 6 points. Yeah, I think I should go with Texas here, but I don't know.
I feel like you and I should split the Houston BYU game. Like they're gonna fuck one of those games up.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna lose both, but I think one of those two games ends up being a loss. I have it at Houston just because it's on the road, but yeah, I'll go ahead and stick with that then. I'll say they sneak out against BYU and beat Houston.
So I mean, either way, like
if this game was in Provo, this would be the easiest money line underdog bet of all time.
Oh God. No doubt. No fucking doubt. And Russ just signed off. He signed off like Mac Brown and Steve Sarkisian after BYU beats him. So to recap before Russ rejoins us, gotta love the internet in Morgantown. 4 games ago, I got them at 4-4. So they're in bowl contention. They're talking national championship. Now, your real narrative, can you get to a bowl in your final year? Troy, you actually got him at 5-3. Rush got him at 5-3. But reminder, you guys gave him a win against Alabama to get to 5-3. Composite 5-3 as well. Here come the Kansas State Wildcats, defending Big 12 champs, not Texas, K-State. Texas has beat them 6 in a row.
Not 7.
Yep, I'm with you. I am with you.
I think this is a horrible matchup for Texas. They've got all the athletes to take advantage of it, and I just, again, like I said on the K-State preview, I'm not siding with Steve Sarkisian over a Kansas State team that's the only reason why they have any success is because of how well they're coached and how well they stick and know their identity. I think you're going to see the difference between a real conference championship competitor and Texas in this game here. I think Kansas State goes to Austin and wins this game. Yeah,
that's happening. And so composite now, 5-4? We'll get Rush's. Here comes Rush. He's coming back in. He's on the hot spot. I am hot spot it.
Yeah, I did. I think God was a little mad at me. I went a little sacrilegious there, so I brought up the BYU.
Well, we said you signed off like Sarkisian and Mac Brown after they lose to BYU.
Exactly. I was doing a little showing what's going to happen. Dude, the power literally just went out. Good old Morgantown Wi-Fi strikes again.
No doubt. Rush, we gave him a win against BYU because we both went loss against Houston. So we said they were going to fuck up either that Houston or BYU game. So
yeah, if they
gave it
beat
a split.
Houston, if they
I
beat
like the
Houston,
split
they
there.
lose to BYU. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have them beating K-State at home?
K-State at home. I have. They'll split the K-State TCU. No, do you know what? I'll give this game to K-State.
So that's a clean sweep for the K-State. They're not losing 7 in a row. You heard Weiser. He said it in the deputy commissioner. He said, Texas are moving to the SEC because they rather associate themselves with losing to Alabama and Florida than to Kansas State and Iowa State. He was telling you what was going to happen down the stretch, and Iowa State's still on the schedule, just like your Mark was telling you what's going to happen against Texas Tech. Oh, my God, how many losses? They're losing so much right now. It's ridiculous. 5-4. So, I mean, they're fighting for their life to get to a bowl game all of a sudden. They got to go to Fort Worth now for one last game. Is this just like Baylor, Rush?
One last ass kicking? No, I think Texas wins this game against TCU. This was a close one last year. Which actually this was a weird game last year, TCU and Texas. I'll give it to Texas. Like I said, I think they split the Kansas State TCU.
Yeah, I don't think TCU has quite enough to pull off a full upset here. I think if they give you 7 points or something like that in Fort Worth, then that might be right around where it's going to end up. Like I would think that it's going to be a 1 touchdown game, and Texas gets that just because of their edge and talent and size and whatnot. And again, I can shit on Quinn Ewers all I want, but bringing back a returning quarterback that has some significant playing time is always going to be a little bit easier than trying to work somebody new in. I know it's later in the season, so maybe TCU has caught on to something by now. But I'm going to go ahead and give it to Texas for the time being.
Oh man, I want to go TCU so bad. But I guess I got to give them a win eventually. I'll give them a win just because TCU got him in Austin last year, the final trip in Austin. So maybe Texas wins a meaningless game on the rematch. So composite, we got them at 6-4. So they clinched the bowl game.
I'll tell you what, if they're 6-4 though, how many of those players are going to be gone?
Lots.
Well, that goes back to my whole narrative. Like with the way this schedule shakes, if they have 2 losses by Red River, they're going to shut it down mentally on Sarkisian.
Well, that's a good point.
Sarkisian will probably shut it down mentally on himself.
Yeah.
Well, and then some guys are going to want to keep their red shirt too, and maybe red shirt.
Archie, Manning. All right, so here you go. Final trip in Ames, Iowa. Here we go. November. They're not even going to have a team at that point. The Gamblers are going to be out.
I don't think but it's going to be. I think it's going to be each team's third strings against each other at this point.
Yeah, but the Iowa State third strings might have played 9 games by now.
I was going to say, and if you remember, they played
Texas ones too.
Yeah, in 2021, the last time they went to Ames, they completely drilled them. In a November game, a nighttime game. It was cold. They beat them like 30-0. Rush, does Ames, Iowa get the better of Texas one last time? These fans, they could be 0-10 or 1-9, and they are going to be single-handedly will their team to win here.
I completely agree with that. And if you had asked me a month ago, or maybe not even a month ago, whenever we did our Iowa State preview, I would have been all on board. But I think these last 2 games, similar to, the chunking method, I think they're split, and we know how the commissioner feels about the last game of the season. So in Iowa State's issues going on right now, I think Texas wins this game.
So Rush got him at 7-4.
I don't think Yormark's going to be right about both Iowa State and Texas Tech here. And because of the uncertainty at Iowa State, I think Texas would still be able to win this game, even if it was string versus string. In fact, that probably favors Texas a lot. I think Texas might even get this done kind of easily on the road. I
actually agree.
I'm sure the Ames fans will be pumped and everything, but that isn't really going to affect the fact that any kind of big player for Iowa State is not there. and Texas will still have a few playmakers that are trying to make a name for themselves. So I'm going to go with Texas in this one.
I gave them a win at TCU. They're not going 2-0 on this road trip. Ames, Iowa. They're going to get it done. And I got Texas at 5-6. It's one game to go. You guys got them at 7-4. Oh yeah, let's go. Cyclones are winning that game. I can't wait to bet that game. Yes, Black Friday is this the final game of the Sarkisian era. Rush, you got them at 7-4. Did they finish 8-4 or 9-4? Or sorry, 8-4, 7-5.
7-5. This game's already been marked by your mark. There's going to be some yellow flags against some orange teams in this game. Texas Tech's going to win this game.
I think I like Ryan's approach of Texas having 5 wins and coming into the Iowa State and Texas Tech matchups that your mark said they're going to fucking lose, and they lose both of them and miss out on a motherfucking bowl game. That would be so funny, because I already know you're taking Texas Tech here for sure, because I am too. Texas Tech is going to win this game. I don't give a shit that it's in Austin. This is the biggest fuck you.
It doesn't even matter the records of either team.
Oh no.
This Texas is losing. Texas Tech is winning this game. Texas is losing.
Texas Tech sends Texas to the SEC, not bowl eligible. 5-7, just like Texas A&M, their buddy last year did in College Station. So it can be done. A team that was in the top 5, top 10. All of a sudden goes from top 5, top 10 to not bowl eligible, 5-7. And Jimbo's a better coach than Steve Sarkisian. So
I was going to say, I think I would take Jimbo over Sark all day. So
hell yeah. He's won a national championship. This year's biggest underachiever in college football, your Texas Longhorns. All right, so 7-5, they go to a bowl. Is this it?
I don't think if they make a bowl, Sarkisian would be coaching this game. I'm pretty sure I know what Ryan was going to ask. Is this it for Sark?
Dude, I think we have all the Texas fans trying to hack this.
Yeah,
they're live.
They're DDoSing us and sending us too many packets for our internet to handle.
I agree. Mad. I mean, if they're going to a bowl game at 7-5 or whatever they're going,
Sark's not there.
Well, I don't think their team's there.
No,
I don't think anyone's there.
They might decline a bowl invitation if they're 7-5.
I could see that. No,
honestly, they might. Like if they're only getting invited to the who the fuck knows what taxslayer.com bowl, they could be screwed.
Is Texas messing with your Wi-Fi too, Ryan?
Yeah, they're cancel culture, man. I said they're not going to a bowl game, and they cut my Wi-Fi off.
So I assumed you were asking about if Sark would still be there, or if this is it for Sark if they're 7-5 going to a bowl game. I don't think he would be coaching that bowl game, and I even said to Rush, I think there would be a chance at 7-5 that Texas turns down a bowl invitation.
I agree with that. There's more likely if they're 7-5, they'll turn down a bowl invite.
With 30 guys trying to transfer out that aren't going to play in the bowl game and no head coach. Maybe they might just say fuck it.
That money's pennies to them anyway that they get from the bowl. That doesn't do anything for them or their brand.
All right, so
it actually makes them look worse that they play in the bowl game.
Yeah, they don't want to be in the Frosted Flakes fucking bowl game against rematch against Wyoming in week number 3 or Rice in week number 1. All right, so I give out the floor 5-7. If all these 50-50 games they don't get any calls, they self-implode, they quit on Sarkisian. What's the ceiling? 10-2.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to at least lose 2. Yeah.
I mean, if they beat Alabama.
That's the thing. Is everything it's down to week 2.
But I still see both Kansas State and Baylor as victors.
They'll lose one Big 12 game.
For sure.
So the question is, do they lose to Alabama?
I think 10-2 might even be their ceiling. I think even if they lose to Alabama, maybe they end up beating Baylor, but that kind of evens itself out between those 2 games.
No, I agree with you. I think I can't see them getting to the playoff. I don't like their schedule, man. I really
could see Oklahoma winning that Red River shootout too.
I agree with that too.
Yeah,
I don't think it's expected, but again, I think, the better quarterback is at Oklahoma. Both coaches suck.
And they can pretend the AD of Texas, like we're embracing the hate last year in the big. They do not embrace the hate. They're sensitive bitches. They are so sensitive, so insecure. They can't stand the things that Yormark and those guys are saying about them, and they're just going to be their worst own enemy this year. And I can see Sarkisian just completely this season getting away from them, just like their cousins at A&M did last year. 5-7 for me. Let's go.
If they truly embrace the hate, the social media team for Texas would already have a hashtag that's like "Leave Your Mark" or something like that, and they would be ready to go 11-1 and get to the semifinal in the Big 12 and get matched up with an SEC team. And then the SEC brags, "Oh, we actually have 3 teams in the playoffs, not just 2."
Yeah. You're trying to call your shot like Deckers. So if they do tweet that out, you
leave your mark.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I like that.
Everybody go on Twitter, follow at TCESGPN. We will be live. Our new schedule starting next week will be Tuesday. We do our game of the week, and our game of the week for week number 1 is Coach Prime Dion, the new members next year in the Big 12. Going to Fort Worth against Sonny Dykes in year number 2 of the TCU Horned Frogs. That'll be our game of the week. Every week we will go live Tuesdays for our game of the week. Thursdays will be our preview and picks edition. Rush, what are we calling this again?
Wait. For our picks?
Yeah, the pick.
Oh, okay. So hold on, I got to get it right too. It's going to be.
It's a tongue twister. That's why I asked you.
It is. It's a playoff of the day after tomorrow. The game day after tomorrow.
The game day after tomorrow. That's. I'm glad that you had it because I didn't have it. I was like, hey, it's something about tomorrow. So yeah, the game day after tomorrow. That'll be Thursday, and then every Saturday after the games conclude or during that BYU 10 o'clock window, we will go live. Reacting to all these games. So we got Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then sneak peek 2. We got our final season predictions, TBD. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel where you got the college football experience, FCS. Shit, there's plenty of FCS games to bet on this weekend as well in week 0. College basketball fans, Texas fans, go check out that. I'm not as harsh on you in basketball, even though you guys did screw me against Miami when you completely collapsed in that Elite 8 game, blowing that fucking 20-point lead. But it's all right. I'll forgive you for 1 year.
Did you get the photo that I sent you, Ryan? Were you able to put that?
Yes.
Were you able to put that on the computer?
Yes, and it is good call, Troy. I had it in here. Here you go.
This is for the Texas fans.
So yes, I mean we're talking in the day and age, talking about all your improving your brand. Don't forget about all your swimming and diving trophies, like that sorry ass reporter got sensitive about. So, hey, you always got your swimming and diving trophies.
As Rush and I, as swimming and diving almost professionals, no one cares. No one cares. I'm here to tell you the Stephen A. Smith clip. I'm here to tell you we don't care.
he should have just left it at we went to the Elite 8 in basketball, and then we went to did they go to the College World Series? No, they lost to the Super Regional, right? I can't remember.
I don't think
we're on the football season.
They lost on the pop-up. They lost in Texas fashion. Yeah, the Super Regional. Yeah, of course they did. It's Texas, so they blew a 20-point lead in the Elite 8, and then they dropped the pop-up to go to Omaha. So, and now they're going to go 5-7. So yeah, horns down. Rambling Rush, tell everybody where to find you and your horns down logo in the background.
At Rambling Rush, Twitter, Instagram. Also follow the West Virginia side of things, the Ryan and Rush Show.
You're lucky you're not playing us.
Subscribe on YouTube to the Ryan and Rush Show.
You guys can find me on the X at Troy Chewning, just my full name, TroyChewning. And I can guarantee you there will be plenty of Texas memes. Even if you're a Texas fan, I bet you'll find a couple of them pretty funny, especially if you're sitting at 5-4 in the middle of the year and there's nothing, you got to get some self-deprecating humor. Just come on over for a follow. I can let you know that Texas is not back, and they will not be back this year either.
Yep, and you guys can find me at Moneyline_Mac. There will be plenty of horns down tweet Texas fans, get over there and watch the Florida Gator Netflix series because Urban Meyer's looking for a job. So when you go 5-7, you can always bring Urban to Austin headed into the SEC. Good luck, everybody. Have a good weekend, and we will see you next week for our final season predictions. And let it ride.